Hello guys, and welcome to the third episode of the How to Make an RPG in Unity tutorial series. And in the last episode, we looked at creating a basic dialogue system. So I'll show you real quick what we did in the last episode. So we finished our scene, or we didn't really add anything to our scene other than this guy right here. We made an interaction system. It's okay, Joey, and will say, "Hi, I need your help," and then he will say, "Please go kill the goblins," and then we can press next, and then you can see here that in the last episode we made it so that when we finish our interaction, our quest number turns to 1. Okay, that's good. So let's actually go to our NPC, and what I want to do is I want to what we're going to do today is we're actually going to be making our first quest system, making some quest UI, so our player will know what they're supposed to do, and adding our first goblin enemy into the scene and making like a quest marker around it. But yeah, anyways, with that said, let us get started. So the first thing that we're going to need to do in order to have our quest system working is I want to actually first fix some things. So I'm gonna make this trigger 3 by 3 by 3 because the trigger is honestly too small, and I'm gonna add a capsule collider. Let's move it up, and then let's make this 0.5 by 2. So now we can actually run into our guy Joey here, because I was having some very tough issues phasing into him. Joey needs your help. Please go kill the goblins. Easy. Okay. So what I want to actually, you can see here when we go into the interaction, you can still see the green text, and that's really disgusting. So we're just gonna delete that. And another thing that I want to do is I want to make it so that um I want to make it so that when we go into our quest and we talk to Joey again, the same thing won't just happen. There's gonna be a different dialogue option. So we're gonna create a bool in our NPC1 class. So we're gonna say public bool has talked is equal to false. So on default, has talked will be equal to false. Now we're gonna implement a whole saving system later down the road, so we can like save the fact that, or save if we have talked to the Joey or not. Save the fact that if we have talked to Joey or not. And over here, so when we press E, what we want to do is we want to set our trigger text set active to false. So we can't see the ugly trigger text that stays there after a while. And the next thing that we're going to be wanting to do is we're going to have to change the text after has talks is equal to true. So if they don't finish the dialogue, has talk will still equal to false. And that's very important because if it turns into true, if we set it to true here, then we don't know if the player actually finished the dialogue, and that means that we don't know if they actually got the quest. So what we're going to do is we're going to reference from our dialogue object. We're going to reference, we can't just reference NPC1 because obviously there's many different many different NPC scripts. So we're just gonna say header NPCs, and we're gonna say public NPC1 NPC1. And this will just store our first NPC script. And over here on play dialogue, we're just going to set that when we finish, we're gonna set NPC. Wait, actually, yeah, okay. So, hmm. Over here, we're gonna say, so we need to find the variable that stores, so data.dialog number. Okay, and we set this to 0 here. Okay, so if, so we're just gonna make another switch statement at the end here, and we're gonna switch data.dialog number. So in the case that it is 1, whoops, we're going to say npc1 dot has talked is equal to true. So basically this is, I just made a switch statement here, extra switch statement here so that we can customize this. So in the future, if we have 4 NPCs, we can have 4 different lines in a switch statement, and this thing will still work. So over here, if we go into NPC1, we can just say if it is if we have actually talked. So actually, let's make this so that let's put an if wrap an if statement around here to say check if we actually have talked. Or actually, this should be if not has talked. So if we never talked to NPC before, then we're going to run all of this function here. And else, if we haven't talked to him, or we have talked to him, then we're going to still do the same thing, except we're going to actually set dialog number to 1.5. And we have to actually change this to be a float. So we're gonna have 1.5. So 0.5 will be the default number for we're gonna get some errors here, I think. Or we're not. Okay, cool. We're gonna get some um in the case that we have 1.5, then basically what this means is that it's not going to be a full new dialogue. Um it's going to be just what will be displayed after we have talked to the NPC to a separate quest. So we're just going to say case 1.5 f, or sorry, yep, there we go. So in the case that dialogue number is 1.5, which we'll set it to if we have already talked to him, then we're actually going to play dialogue, and we're going to create a new thing here called dialogue 1.5. One, I don't know how to make this 5. One, one, 105. I'll just put an O in between for dot. And we're just gonna make this dialog 105. If I can spell dialog right, 105. And cur dialog will equal to dialog 105, of course. Okay, this should be pretty simple. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this should be really, really simple. So now we can go back into Unity, and we can go into our NPC script, or no, where's our, goddamn, it's right here. Okay, cool. So we're just gonna change these values of dialog 105. Dialogues, we're only gonna have one, and Joey will basically ask, have you killed the spiders or goblins? Yeah. And his name will be Joey, and quest number will be still 1. So now when we go back into Unity, or oops, we can go into drag our basic NPC to the NPC1 slot. Now when we press play, we can go into our player or our NPC, and we can talk to him. Hi, I need your help. Please go kill the goblins. Okay. For some reason the trigger text didn't disappear, but we're just gonna check if this works yet. Yep, have you killed the goblins after we talk to him again. If we keep trying to talk to him, he's just gonna ask, have you killed the goblins? Okay, this is exactly what we want, except for the fact that we don't have our dialog NPC1 deleting the trigger text. Huh, okay. And how about okay. So we can create another bool, and we can say is in dialog is equal to false. And once we press E, is in dialog is going to be equal to true. We're just going to check here. We're only going to allow the player to press E and see the trigger text only when is in dialog is equal to false. Or we can just put a not exclamation mark in front of is in dialog. And this will basically not display this every frame if we are not in dialog. Or sorry, it will display it if we're not in dialog, but if we are in dialog, then it won't display it. Now if we go back, actually we have to fix one more thing. We actually have to set is in dialog to be false. Is going to be equal to false after, because if we don't, then we can't talk to him again. And when we go in here, when we press E, is in dialog. Okay, cool. So now when we go back into Unity, so now when we go back into Unity and press play, I need your help. You can see it disappears. Okay, cool. Go kill the goblins. Have you killed the goblins yet? Nope, I have not. But okay, okay. Small error. We actually have to set it so that it reappears even if we don't. Okay. We might just have to drag all of this in here. Uh, yeah. Or we can just make it so that case one, 1.5. We can just create another if statement in our switch to check if we are in at 1.5, and if we are, then we're going to have npc that is in dialogue to be false. Alright, cool. So now we can go back into Unity, and now we go back to our player, E to interact. Hi, I need your help. Please go kill the goblins. Yep, works fine. Have you killed the goblins? And it reappears. Okay, cool. Okay, so next thing we're gonna need to do is we're gonna make a little text pop up that tells you your, oh whoops, my bad, that tells you your objective after we have triggered our quest events. So we're going to have a little bit of green text. We can just duplicate this, and instead of calling this trigger text, this will be called quest title. We're gonna create an empty. I'll call this quest alert. Drag quest title in here, center it, quest alert, let's move that here, right on the side, and we can drag quest title up here, and we can call this, let's say, let's make it to center to the left, so we can say quests to kill dragon. Very cliche quest. And yeah, so this will pop up as a title when we receive a quest, and we can have our objectives down here. So we can just say, let's say objective one will be to talk to Jimmy, and then we can have another objective a bit down, lower in our a bit lower in our quest uh, notification uh, area. We can just, instead of having talk to Jimmy, we can say kill the goblins. Okay, so now when we go into our game, it looks okay. It's not the best. We can fix the UI up later though. I might make a special UI episode to just sweep everything up, maybe on episode 5 or 6. But I was thinking of having like milestone episodes where we'll just go back, take a look at all the code and messed up stuff that we have, like the UI, and we're just gonna fix it all in one episode. Makes it much simpler. Okay, but now when we go back into the game, you can see it looks decent. We're gonna actually first create our first animation. So we're gonna have to go into our assets folder and right click, create a new folder called animations. And let's go in here. We're gonna click on quest alert, animations, press create. And we're going to go into our animations folder. And we're gonna call this quest in. And now we're gonna record. Press the red button here. Now, if you don't know what animations are, they're basically cool little things that let your game function, like attack animations and like breaking animations in Minecraft. Basically, this is what it is. But anyways, now we're just gonna set all of the alpha to 0, so you can't actually see it at the start. So, and we're just gonna have a simple fade in effect for our quest marker. I don't know if you guys have ever used PowerPoint. Whoops, my bad. Why is this guy still full alpha? 0. Please, okay, thank you. Why? Oh, maybe because the names are the same? Okay. Oh, wait, there we go. Finally, thank you. Okay, so the first thing that's going to pop up at 30 millisecond or half a millisecond or half a second, sorry, is going to be our title. So we're going to slowly have this pop in. Everything here is still going to be 0 alpha. We're just going to make sure of that. If we don't make sure of that, then over here, when we play the next animation, it'll have a slow fade in effect throughout the whole animation, which we don't want. gonna say this is this. We're gonna make sure this is still 0 alpha. And then at 1.3, we're gonna display our next quest marker right here. Now we can play the animation. Okay, seems a bit rushed to me. I'm gonna move it back to 40 frames per item. So what's 40? 180 technically? Yeah, that's 80. And then this would be at exactly 2. 120, yep, okay. Now we can go into our game and see how it looks. Kill the goblins. Okay, and we're just gonna let this stay for, let's say, until 5 seconds. And then at that point, we're going to uh, emphasis on everything being the same alpha so it doesn't have a slow fade effect. And then over here, every 30 seconds, we're going to have one of our items disappear. So first it's going to be this quest objective, 0 alpha. Make sure everything is still going to be the same alpha. 2. And at 6, we're going to disable this. Make sure this is still the same alpha. This is a bunch of repetitive work. You get used to it after a while. And then, boom. Okay, all done. So now we can look at our animation. Quest kill dragon, talk to Jimmy, kill the goblins. For like around 3 seconds it stays, and it starts disappearing. Okay, this is perfect. Well, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. And now we can set this as not active. Turn on the animation, and we're gonna set this to animation play on start. Okay, so it's already play on start. Okay. And basically, whenever this enables, the animation is just gonna get played. So if I go into Unity, you can see if I set this as active, it comes in whenever I set it as active. And we can just change the text values to be perfect to our need. And we can basically just manipulate it that way. And turning this as active or not active whenever we need a quest marker display. Okay, so now we're just going to create a new script. So we're going to call this script QuestObj. And we're just going to have ourselves a public function. So first we're going to need to import the namespace so we can actually work with this with other scripts. So just import that namespace. If you don't know why we need the namespace, check out the last video. Explained why we need it, I think. But we're just gonna say public. We're gonna have a public void. So we're gonna have a public function called start new quest. Open close, and we're gonna have a public game object quest obj. And whenever this happens, we're just also we need to import TMP Pro so we can deal with text mesh pro objects. And we're just gonna create reference our quest title, quest objective 1, quest objective 2. Now you might be wondering, what happens if we have 2 objectives, or what happens if we have 1 objective, or what happens if we have 3 objectives, or 4 or 5? Well, we can actually do 2 things. So we can either set quest, if we have, in the case of 1, we can set quest objective to be nothing, so there's no text, so it seems like there's only 1 that's appearing. Or if we have multiple, we can actually, what we can do is we can put multiple in one text mesh pro UGI object. So we can just have like an enter, or like, I don't know how you say it, just like a line of nothingness between each quest objective in a single text mesh pro object. I don't know if I explained it right, but you'll see later on in the game development if we come across to like five objective quests. But yeah, so let's actually start the new quest. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna say quest j dot set active true, and then we're going to invoke. And basically what this does is that this allows us to call another function in a set amount of time. So we're just gonna say create another function called close quest, And we're just going to say quest object obj dot set active false. So we're just going to invoke close quest after or shoot, I think, yeah, okay, no, never mind. This whole thing should be okay, like that. Close quest. Let's say after, I think it was. Let's just make it 7. Just to be safe. Is that not how you do? I think this might be. Oh wait, there we go. Oh wait, yeah. So close quest after 7 seconds. And then so basically, we're just gonna set the quest object after 7 seconds as false. After 7 seconds, to make sure that we can open it again in the next time we want to have a quest marker opened. And now we're going to take in a couple of variables like string, quest title, string obj1, string obj2. So these will be the variables we need to pass on when we call the function, and we're just going to set quest title to be title, and we're just going to set quest objective text is going to be type obj1, and so the same thing for quest objective to obj2. Oh wait, so now in dialog object, we're just going to call on the function when we do finish it. So we're just going to say private quest obj on the top. So private quest obj, and on void on enable, or on void awake actually, void awake. So when the game starts, basically, we're just going to say quest obj, or obj is going to be find object of type quest obj. So basically, this just finds a reference for quest obj in the game and attaches itself to our script. And now over here, in the case of 1, we're just going to say quest obj dot um, start new quest, or sorry, obj dot start new quest. I think, yeah, okay, and then we're gonna need our titles and everything. Actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new. So we're trying to make this as customizable as possible, so you guys can make your own quests. So we're just gonna copy this here, all of this code. We're gonna create a new custom object, and this is gonna be called. Why is this not working? Oh, do I have to? Yeah, okay. So using system. So you have to call the library using system whenever you use serializable. So okay, so we not dialog object. Let's say quest object. And over here we're gonna just say quest one. Quest object quest one. So this actually removes the need for our quest number. We can just delete that. And now over here we have a object storing our actually we don't need that actually. We can just have quest objects array quest objs. And over here we can literally just take in a quest object, and then that's pretty much it. And we can just say over here we can have, instead of character name or whatever, we can have a quest title. Delete this, quest obj1 and quest obj2. Oh wait, now we can just, instead of this, we can say, oh, we also need to name our temporary variable. Also change this to 2. We can make this called temp obj. And over here we can say temp obj dot quest title, temp obj dot quest obj1, and temp obj dot quest obj2. Alright, so now instead of over here we're gonna have an error, so we instead of calling, also we can just delete this because we don't need that anymore. And over here, we can just delete this too because we're not going to be actually setting a quest number now. And over here in obj.start new quest, we're going to pass in, because this is case sensitive, we can literally just pass in what is this? Quest objs, so obj.quest objs 0, because we know that that's going to be our first quest. Okay, so now we have to go back into Unity, let it all compile, find where our quest is, our questing system is. I don't think we attached it yet, so we can just attach it to the player. Okay, or actually, let's just drag this to our quest alert. No, let's keep on the player because the quest alert will be disabled, and therefore the script will also be disabled. So quest alert, QuestObj, the quest title is here. Quest title, objective 1, objective 2, and over here we can create a new one. So this will be index 0 or element 0. The quest title is going to be kill goblins for Joey. Joey's tutorial or quests. Kill goblins. Done. Uh, Now when we go back into Unity, let it all let it all no, yeah. Now we can just go back into Unity. We can see here, please go kill the goblins. Now we see Joey's quest, kill goblins. All right, and it disappears after a while. And if we go back, uh, we can try to talk to him again, and the quest doesn't pop up. And now our active quest is kill goblins. Yeah, okay. So I think, yeah, this should be pretty much it. We might actually also need the quest number, because we want to store how we're actually going to complete the quest and everything. Um, we're on the technical side instead of display side. But I think this is pretty much it for this video. I think I said we're going to import our first goblin. I think the video is getting a bit long, so I'm just going to end it there. But yeah, in the next episode, we'll finally deal with enemies. I know you guys wanted this for episode 2. But we're going to deal with enemies in the next episode. So stay tuned for that and finally finishing our questing system. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Remember to subscribe and like, and thanks for watching. Bye.